strive towards gender equality. But how realistic is this in the current South African landscape, especially in the business and community environment? And what can we as individuals do to ensure women are treated equally? Joining us is industrial psychologist and executive coach from the University of Stellenbosch Business School, Dr. Salome Coller. Welcome to the Love, Doctor.
Thank you.
Talking about women in the workplace, what are the recurring challenges that still are a struggle for women in the workplace?
Bonnie, I think just people, professional women just want to be seen as a professional woman. They actually want to have equality in the workplace.
Yeah.
They have been appointed for a certain job and for a certain role, and they want to be just allowed to play that role. But that means we need to properly integrate them into the business.
Yes.
And into the team. Often we forget about that. Into the culture of the workplace.
Yeah, yeah.
And often they feel excluded because they're still in the minority. And I think we can do a lot more to integrate women, professional women, better into our workplaces.
Yeah.
From the word go. Whether we employ them or promote them, just make sure that they are seen as equal. They actually behave towards as an equal.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, now when in the corporate world where women are being empowered and are being groomed to take on leadership roles, you find that the team that they're leading is not ready for a woman to lead them. So how do we better integrate them into those roles?
Bonnie, the teams that I work with, because I firmly believe it's not just about the individual, it's about sensitizing the team as well. When they do it really well, it's almost from when they say we need somebody else in our team. Then the whole team looks at what is the skill set, the personality, the role that we want this newcomer to play. And that they almost co-create this profile of the person they want for their team.
Yeah.
And so that when they recruit and the person comes on board, they had a vested interest in getting this person for their team.
Yeah.
They were aware, they were even involved. I think that can go a long way. And then proper onboarding. If a person is promoted into a new team or even into an organization, make time to onboard. And that goes for men and women actually.
Yeah.
Do proper onboarding. Make people feel welcome.
Right. You mentioned earlier that some of your work is about grooming and preparing women of color for leadership positions. Tell us about that work.
Oh, it's fascinating. I'm really honored to do that.
Yeah.
Often when I coach them, they still sit with a bit of disillusionment because they were employed into a certain role, into a certain organization, and they still face a different culture, they still face a different language.
Would you say that they have a greater cultural disposition in that sense?
I'd hate to say that. I think it's rather the individual. We need
to say that.
Yeah, I think people need to be seen as an individual.
Right, I hear you.
No matter, and to say, where's this person from? What language does she or he speak? What are their particular roles here? How can we best help them to get going? How can we integrate them into our business?
Right.
If you join a company that's predominantly Afrikaans, but you are told the business language is English, please let the business language be English.
Yes.
To facilitate her playing her rightful role in the organization.
Yeah.
I just take that one example.
Right. And I mean, there's this rhetoric that's quite dominant in that world where people say for a woman to be really successful in a tough industry or in a male-dominated industry, they have to be mean. How do we dispel those kind of myths and stereotypes? And can women find that balance within themselves to still be nurturing and vulnerable but be strong at the same time?
Yeah, I would not advise them to become mean, but I would advise them to be assertive.
We've heard this rhetoric and this talk, right?
Yes. Yeah. I would advise them to be observant and just to take in as much as they can about how are things happening in this place, what do you need to be successful, but also to stand up for themselves and be counted.
Yeah.
To be assertive.
Right.
Again, I think that a lot can be done to sensitize teams and workplaces.
Yes.
So you send a person on a fast track training program, or you give them some special training, they come back to the workplace. They're now all excited about practicing this new stuff.
And they communicate more effectively.
Yes, but now people are like, so she thinks she's smart, hey?
Well, there you go. She thinks she's this, she thinks she's that, da-da-da.
So coaching often happens a person to transform their learning or to transfer their learning from the training room to the workplace.
Yes.
And because it's there where they're facing difficulty, resistance to change, complexity, uncertainty, all those things that we read about so much. And that's just so real.
Yeah, I could talk about this all day with you, but you know what, I can smell those fumes coming from the kitchen, and there's a lovely plate of food waiting for us. Judy and Bonham, thank you so much, Bonnie, really do appreciate that. Keep those streams coming.